I hate to break it to you guys, but you're not starting a revolution by throwing blocks of cement at ICE agents while they're driving and while also blocking a federal bus on the 101 freeway in LA. You're not doing anything but besides putting people in danger, and you're being really annoying. I don't understand what's with people thinking they can block a moving vehicle. And why are you on the freeway? Is their liberal logic? Yeah, I'm gonna bring my kids and my toddlers to a riot and a protest to hide behind them like a shield. Because guess what? A little kid got pepper sprayed. Would you look at that? They're literally walking on the freeway. The 101 freeway in LA, by the way. So if you live in California, you know, holding Mexican flags. I mean, you can't make this fuck up. Every time I see these riots and these protests, you never see an American flag. You see every other flag for another country. It's so fucking weird.
When protest hits the streets, they are usually driven by pain, injustice, or politics. But this time, the reaction is loud from MAGA voices who say, this is not how we do it in America. Flags burned, buildings defaced, and tensions rising, all in the name of justice. But is this really helping the cause, or is this tearing communities apart? Well, we'll get to find out in just a moment. Hello everyone, welcome back to Trending Pulse Worldwide, where we talk about trending stories, real reactions, and what's really going on beneath the surface. I'm your girl Amy, and if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next story. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for rocking with me. So here is what happened. In Los Angeles, ICE agents conducted a series of immigration sweeps that resulted in around 118 people being detained. That's right, nearly 120 individuals were taken into custody in just a couple of days. And almost immediately, the streets lit up with protest. People came out angry, waving signs, blocking roads, chanting for immigrant rights. But here is where it gets complicated. Many of those affected weren't undocumented. Some were in the country legally, under humanitarian parole, and others had pending applications or valid documentation. And yet, they were still detained, pulled from their homes, workplaces, and even schools. Entire families torn apart in the process. So guys, I've lined up some videos of MAGA supporters saying this is not the way to go, this is not how they should do it, these protests are wrong. So guys, let's take a look, then I'll be back shortly.
Give my opinion on what is happening in Los Angeles right now solely for the reason that I think it's a more rational take than what is happening on either side of the aisle right now. And I'm going to start this off by saying that yes, I did vote for Trump, I did vote for a safe and secure border, and I did vote for law and order. However, what we are seeing right now with this deportation process is a lot of law and not so much order. Believe it or not, it is possible to have an opinion on having a safe and secure border that does not involve dehumanizing people in the process. That being said, the left has been cosplaying this dystopian society for years, to the point where they are now performing it. They have convinced themselves that we are living in movies like The Hunger Games and Divergent and The Purge. They've been yelling and screaming and tweeting and posting all over social media for months about how the first thing that Donald Trump does when he becomes president is he's going to declare martial law on all the citizens. And I guess they got tired of waiting, so they decided they're going to make that happen themselves. Like, in my opinion, what's happening in LA is right now is giving this attitude of like, we've been cosplaying in this movie society for so long and it doesn't feel real enough, so now we're going to make it feel real. They're out there in LA right now literally setting fires, shutting down traffic, throwing bottles of their own piss at people, literally creating the same chaos that they keep warning everybody about. And here's the kicker. When the police finally do step in, when the National Guard is finally called in, your whole attitude changes. All of a sudden, it's gone from burning cars and waving Mexican flags and doing all of this crazy nonsense to the most peaceful process you guys have had in the last 3 days. Now, am I crazy, or maybe was it necessary to call them in order to calm you guys down? And then you guys try to spin these narratives that, I'm going to be honest, they would have gotten me 2 years ago. You start posting things like, they're tear gassing babies. Look at this baby that got tear gas in the face. What that tells me is that one of two things happened. Either somebody brought their baby to a riot, to a protest where they had no business bringing children to, or you were bringing the fights to places where innocent people could be just walking down the street and could be harmed by your behavior. I hate to break it to you, but the more likely scenario is not that you're being attacked. The more likely scenario is that you brought the fight to someone else's front lawn. You brought the fight to a place where innocent people who wanted nothing to do with it are now involved.
I lived in Mexico for 6 years. I speak the language. I love the people. And the food, don't even get me started on the food. But let's be clear about something. This is not Mexico. Over the weekend in Los Angeles, anti-ICE protests turned into full-blown riots. Cars were torched, federal agents attacked, and foreign flags were flown, proudly, while American streets burned. No stars, no stripes, just smoke, flames, and a giant Mexican flag held up like a trophy. And here's where a lot of people drew the line. You don't have to support every immigration policy. You don't even have to like ICE. But if you're on American soil, torching American cities and waving a foreign flag while doing it, you've lost the plot. And you're helping the one man you probably didn't mean to, President Donald J. Trump. Trump mobilized the National Guard within hours. Because when America burns and our flag is nowhere in sight, voters start paying attention. This isn't about race, it's not about culture, it's about respect. You don't spit on the country that's feeding you. This is still the United States of America. And loving Mexico doesn't mean forgetting where you are.
Now, Americans online have a lot to say about this. One post said they're not even waving American flags, they're banning it. This isn't a protest, it's a riot. And another one said they're destroying our city, and for what? Nobody respects this country anymore. Well, these are just a few of the MAGA-leaning takes flooding the internet right now. And many of them see the protest as a complete breakdown of law and order. But then on the other side, they're saying amongst those detained were individuals with legal status, including those with work permits, asylum applications, and even valid visas. And another user went ahead and said, they took my cousin while he was dropping off his daughter at school. He had paperwork, he was doing everything right. And some even went ahead saying, we followed the rules, we trusted the process, and now our families are being torn apart anyway. So you see, this isn't just about legality anymore, it's about fear, broken trust, and entire communities feeling betrayed. Now, let's be real for a second. MAGA supporters see the visuals first. They see burnt flags, vandalism, and chaos, and they interpret it as an attack on the country itself. They're saying, this is disrespectful, this isn't the way. And you know what? I get it. Destruction doesn't help anyone, it just adds fuel to the fire. But what's also real is the pain these immigrant families are facing. Some of them came in legally, some are waiting on approvals, and some had been contributing to society, working, paying tax, raising their kids there. And despite doing things the right way, they were still swept up in ICE raids. And imagine dropping your child off at school and never coming home. Imagine having legal documents, real paperwork, and still being thrown in a van with no answers. It's heartbreaking. And let's not forget, many of these families include people who did vote for Trump and people who believed in the system. They wanted structure, safety, and a fair shot. But now the same system is turning on them. So when protests turned chaotic, I don't think it's because the people hate America. It's because they believe America has forgotten them. Now, I just want to add on this. You see, when institutions stop distinguishing between the undocumented and those here legally, trust begins to erode. And if a work permit or visa no longer protects you, what are families supposed to believe? And for those protesting, well, sometimes fear doesn't whisper, it screams. And I don't agree with destruction. Banning the flag? No, that's not the move. But I do understand the desperation, especially when the people caught in the middle are workers, parents, caregivers, and not criminals. And with that said, now I want to hear from you. Do you think the protest went too far? Should MAGA supporters show more empathy, especially knowing that some of these families did follow the rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but remember to keep it respectful because this is real life for a lot of people. And if you found this conversation valuable, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Trending Pulse Worldwide so we can keep unpacking the stories that matter. So until next time, stay informed, stay respectful, and stay curious. Bye for now.